Try it again. How are you?
Great.
Awesome. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up with your full self. One of the things that I might ask us all to do is to turn off our cell phones or make sure that the ringer is off so that when we're inside Hector's poetry, we're not called out by a little ding. You guys did you see that little thing about how this is a dopamine addiction? So we'll put away our dopamine addiction. So my name is Charlotte Gillick, and I'm chair of the Creative Writing Department at Austin Community College. How many ACC students are here? Look at that! Awesome! Okay. Super excited that you're all here. Are you getting extra credit? So it's great that you're here. You're in for a real treat. So one of my jobs is to let you know that we offer creative writing classes. So we offer quite a few of them. Look under creative writing. Don't look under English because you won't be able to find those classes. And if you're someone who takes a class at ACC, any class at ACC, you can submit to our literary journal, the Rio Review. We have a monthly literary coffee house, so 8 months out of the year. Next month in November, we have Aibor Schultz. She's Nigerian American, and she's going to read, I think, from her YA work that's informed by the culture that she comes from in Nigeria. And in December, it will be Joe Hoppy's class reading from some of their work. So we're really excited that you all are here. I forgot what I'm supposed to say. I'll introduce Hector in just a second, and after he reads, we have an opportunity for open mic. So if you're interested in signing up for the open mic, we do have some very specific guidelines. And what I want to say about that is, Malvern has asked us to support their position that we should be a little bit sensitive when we read material in public. And they're not saying, and as a partner in this, we're not saying don't write what you need to write. We're not saying, scrub your work clean, but be judicious about what you decide to share with an audience. There's a lot of language in our world that is traumatic. And so if we can choose language that is less traumatic, we're just showing a sensitivity to our readers and to the world. And I think that's important. So I really appreciate that Malvern gives us the opportunity to be here and has asked us to follow these guidelines. So thank you all very much. So if you do decide to read, you can sign up. You get 4 minutes, like I said. And what happens is I set my phone for about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And after it goes off, I just start to awkwardly inch up close to you so that you know you finish. Okay. So I first heard Hector read at the last Rio Review release party, and I was stunned by his poetry. And I'm so excited that he said yes to coming tonight and sharing his work. I know he's going to read in both Spanish and English, and I'll read his bio now, if I can. He was born to a family of agricultural workers who would migrate back and forth from Guadalajara, Mexico, to Salinas, California. He moved to Texas permanently in the late 90s in pursuit of higher education. Hector obtained a GED and subsequently attended Texas State University, where he studied Spanish linguistics and Hispanic poetry. It was important to him that he study in preparation for a profession where he could contribute to maintaining his heritage, as most language is lost amongst third generation Hispanics in the United States. Hector is skilled as a natural simultaneous interpreter, and his publications include technical transcriptions or articles on education, healthcare, and the workforce. In contrast, Hector's creative works include identity topics, being Latinx, and the promotion of bilingualism in the United States. He currently serves as an academic advisor at the Highland campus of Austin Community College. He understood that by using his voice, he could bring representation to the Chicano experience and the struggle of neither identifying as North American nor Mexican. He's also an LGBTQIA advocate pursuing inclusivity. So please help me welcome Héctor Aguayo.
Thank you so much. I need to thank my dean for that. That was pretty cool. So I do public speaking for a living, and I speak with a lot of crowds, but I'm really nervous today. I'm sharing something very personal, and that's always different. And usually I started writing in Spanish, but I'm a skilled translator. So I started translating all my work in English, and so at the RIA Review, that was my first English publication, and so I started just kind of translating everything that I had into English. So some of the stuff here cannot be translated. Just I just didn't feel right translating it. It didn't work. It didn't quite work. Some of it, well, you're going to get to hear that it does work. But pardon if I'm a little nervous through this. The reason I write is, well, I started writing in my diary. Just that's really the way I started. And I would write what was going on with me because I didn't want to forget my experiences that I lived, because I learned at a very early age that the things we experience and then a couple hours later we feel different. And I didn't want to forget all the stuff that I was learning. And so my mom would go through all my stuff, right? So moms do that. So I started writing in code. So she wouldn't really, so I would understand what I'm talking about, but not necessarily other people. Well, that's what I thought, right? But people, I love the people that I have shared my poetry with, always give me their interpretation of it. And that's always the fun part of it, because I'm like, oh, I didn't mean that. But that's great, I love that. I also write because it's part of my particular religion. And so in my head, we think, right, and we speak out loud, and so when we take the time to write what we have spoken, and it gives it extra strength, at least in my belief system. So I'm not going to share anything with you in that sense, but that is the motivation behind me writing. And I want to thank for this space, both the bookstore and the ACC's creative writing department, for creating these types of spaces for expression. I think it's very important that poetry is not dead, and it's very much a living thing. And, well, here we go. So this one here, it's my first English publication. And then I'm going to read it in Spanish. Let's see, I'm going to move a little bit. So, can someone help me with this?
Oh,
there we go.
Just by coming close, you could.
Yep. There we go.
Is it stable?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right. This one's called Love Spell in the Kitchen. My body is like a cauldron made of clay, exposed to the low heat temperatures of life. The potion in my blood begins to boil, exposing my desires to the surface, guiding me to understand the secrets of architecture and the decay of matter. Manipulation is an art. So salt is added to give it the essentials and some sanity. Then wheat is added too, to give it its texture and a hint of complexity. Petals are also added to give it sensuality and tenderness. You mix the concoction with a wooden spoon to form something tangible. Then tomorrow can be inspired by that dream. A wall is made up of fears and insecurities is constructed for self-defense. With such conjure, that wall is struck down, and one experiences the elusive tale of ever after. En la cocina de una curandera. Mi cuerpo es como una vasija de barro expuesta al fuego lento. La poción en mi sangre empieza a bullizar, exponiendo mis deseos, queriendo entender los secretos de la arquitectura y de la descomposición de la materia. Se agrega la sal para darle lo esencial y cordura. Se agrega el trigo para darle complejidad y textura. Se agregan los pétalos para darle sensualidad y ternura. Se mezcla con una cuchara de palo, formando algo tangible. Es el arte de la manipulación, inspirado por el sueño del mañana. Con temores, formé una pared que me serviría para la autodefensa. Con tal conjuro, se derriba esa pared y se experimenta el cuento iluso del siempre jamás. This one here is in honor of, thank you. This one here is in honor of, it's perfect for today, which is Indigenous Peoples Day, / Columbus Day, however you want to call it. I think it's transitioning, right, to Indigenous Day. And the last word that I'm going to mention is in a Nahuatl word that means, it was priests from the Aztec culture who would say it before going into battle. And the priest was he was the only one that could say this poetry before they went into battle. So the subject is the Spanish conquest, but also the subject is how someone can conquer my heart. And it's called Aztec Cry of War. The way of the Indian is my path. I invoke the gods through poetry. You have mixed my indigenous blood with yours, and then called me a bastard. You deceive me, and yet I still worship your divine albino-like anatomy, which is frivolous. You have no choice but to prey on the heat emitted from the blood rush and friction of our male organs. And in our passion, it is I who will rip the heart from your chest in sacrifice, make you blissfully submit to my mouth, and bend the knee to my sex in adoration. The weakness of my ancestors is my weakness. The hair, the skin, and the eyes of the enemy. And how could I not view you as a god, if your yellow body hair and beard sparkle like the sun when light touches it? It blinds me. If your white, pale skin like maize ignites my sexual appetite, it nourishes me. If your blue-green eyes act as celestial jade mirrors, they reflect me. You conquer both land and sky, so you slither and fly like the prophesied feathered serpent, enslaving me, and trafficking me, imprisoning me, and deviating me from the natural path. You view me as soulless to justify the actions of your washed-out race. You're beautiful, and I love you. The weakness of my ancestors is my weakness. Yaukikato. This one is grito de guerra. La manera del indio es mi manera, invocando a los dioses con este poema. Yace en mi sangre nativa, es mi debilidad y la de mis ancestros, el cabello, la piel y los ojos del enemigo. Eres lo más divino y lo más sagrado, y aún así me engañas. Vienes y robas el calor que emite mi sangre mexicana como un parásito, ya que tu carne es frívola y sin pasión, pero es mi debilidad y la de mis ancestros, el pensarte un dios. ¿Y cómo no puedo hacerlo si tus pelos son de oro que brillan así como el sol? Me encandilas. Si tu pellejo es de maíz, blanco y sedoso al tacto, me alimentas. Si tus pupilas son espejos celestiales hechos de jade, me reflejo. Has venido a conquistar la tierra y mi cielo, deslizándote y volando como la serpiente profetizada, albina. Tu anatomía me desvía de mi camino, tan diferente a la mía, tan exótica. Me seduce tu raza desvanecida. Me enmancebas. Dame libertad. Yaukikato. English, get nervous. Spanish, it flows. This one is in English, and all I can tell you is heartbreak is a bitch, right? And please know your status. It is very important to know your status. I fell in love so deep that people actually witnessed I levitated into the sky and out of orbit, but also witnessed my fall at 83,000 kilometers per hour like a meteor re-entering Earth's atmosphere. The impact has broken my spinal cord. I lay here on the king-size mattress bed not being able to move, moving only my legs and arms like a critter on its back. My body has no choice from this position but to admire and stare at the constellation I left in the past. I contemplate such celestial delights, and I reminisce living in the light once more. Then afterwards came the rain. Oh, how mother wept. Her salty tears filled the crater, drowning life that existed there. Now, there's only mud and broken chunks of asphalt. I stir in the dirt below with its beams from therein. Like a worm, I slide between nameless and faceless bodies in sexual decadence, buried here with the forgotten, with the femmes and the fats. It is how I cope, how I regain my male confidence, how I'm able to feel like an earthling once more. Heartbreak. This one here is a little bit more fun. I wrote it for when I was working for a nonprofit organization that had a poetry contest, and I love poetry, so I said, I'll write one, and I'll make it rhyme so I can maybe win. And I did. So here it goes. And it has to do with the type of work I do, and so you'll see. It's called Uncertain Times. They say an apocalypse is upon us. They say the end is near. They say, don't dream about the white picket fence, but I think it's all just too unclear. They come to my door with no job. Some just got back from the war. Some come to my door with no electricity because bills just got out of control. They come to my door with no food or no shelter, so where should I send them to stay? They say, don't think about the white picket fence, but it's all just too unclear, I rather say. And while bill writers and mathematicians forget to do their adding and we look away, interest rates for educational loans and mortgages are not as forgiving if you don't pay. So why should I go back to school, you would say? Hope is there for those who seek and ask. Life always gives you another chance, I would say. Stop fearing, believe in yourself, take a leap of faith, and seek that picket fence. Trust in yourself, and I bet it will become clear with the light of day. And you rhyme, right? This one I'm going to wait until the end. It's always, I'll do it now. No, and the reason why is because I do love poetry. I like reading it, but it affects me. And this one, oh God, just thinking about it. When I read it, I cried. And I was afraid that I was going to cry here, but anyway, let me expose my feelings, right? So this is my very own, the only translation that I have done of someone else's work. And it was written anonymously by someone in Spain. And it just said, written by Libra. And it impacted me so much that I wanted to not translate it, but interpret it. So it has the same elements, and I hope it doesn't get to me, because I was reading it at home, and I got like choked up. So, and you'll see why that is. Matter. My family and friends asked me, "Are you gay?" I asked, "Does it matter?" They said, of course not. I said to them, yes, I am. So they changed the locks and said never to come back. My employer asked me, are you trans? I asked, does it matter? They replied, no, not at all. I replied, yes, I am. So they put my belongings in the box and escorted me out. My church members asked me, are you bi? I asked them, does it matter? They said, we don't judge. I said to them, yes, I am. So they condemned me and kept my endorsements. My educators asked me, are you non-binary? I asked, does it matter? They replied, no, we will not discriminate. I replied, yes, I am. So they ignored me and placed me in the corner. Man, I said to myself, I think it did matter. And the inner voice asked, who are you? I replied, does it matter? The inner voice replied, yes, I love you like no other. I said, how is that possible? I'm LGBTQIA. I said, so the inner voice insisted, make no mistake, you matter. You are perfect because we were created by the divine with a purpose to fulfill. I acknowledged and I said, thank you. And nothing else really mattered. That was tough. So yes, that's the only time that I have taken liberty to translate someone else's creative work because, well, of how it made me react. Speaking to that, I wrote something here that wasn't translated, but thank you. That I wrote many years ago, and it was picked up for published work at a literary magazine in Spanish. But since I couldn't tweak the feminine pronouns and all that, I decided to just keep it anonymous. So it was published anonymously, and so this is the first time that I'm going to read it to you. Una vez cada década invade y afecta toda la tierra el niño. El niño hace que nieve en el verano, hace que llueva en un desierto y que huracane en una metrópolis. Mi niño es justamente eso. Mi niño humectó mis labios secos y partidos, inquirió cada nervio de mi ser con el roce de su piel y me habló con los ojos sin existir nunca un sonido. Yo suelo ser incomprendido. Thank you. All right, this one is, the topic is safe space, like here today. And, but I'm talking about gay bars, because for a lot of the gay community, gay bars are a safe place. I don't feel comfortable going to a straight bar and if I like someone, going and telling them that. So this talks to that experience. So it's called Idealizing. With a couple drinks in the bloodstream and with the lungs filled with hallucinogen smoke. In a strange and nocturnal city, I found myself without inhibitions, listening to music full blast in the dance floor with intoxicating lights spinning round and round. It is here where you can find that secret place, in between the light and the shadow. The case is simple. The predator stare, the primitive desire, the seductive dance, the approving smile, the introductory words. Hi there, how's it going? What's your name? You couldn't resist my seduction, nor the sweet shot I offered. The alcohol that burned the stomach ignited a mutual spark. You've left such an impression on me that I smiled when I woke up the next day. I'd like to believe, and you called psychically, because you called me on my cell phone. Our encounter was brief and forbidden because your kisses belonged to someone else. My loneliness was diminished, but my anxiety came back. In between the light and the shadow, my sexual appetite, your submissive body, the combined flavors, our synchronized laughter, and the deepest kisses ever. An unforgettable experience. Will I see you someday? Who knows such things? Life squeezes. So this one is like just a stream of thought. I had an aha moment and I wrote all this stuff. But when I did, it's just, things got, or I don't know, it just felt better when I finished. And I knew what to do in life, I guess. But here it goes. It's called Invocation Through Spells. Life squeezes like if I were a sponge, and it tightens with a firm grip, spilling tears that come from within. I'm in the floor, literally. I have only the strength to grab this notebook and write, and today I woke up here. It dawned on me here. With that still in mind, yes, that which hurts. I'm wounded and I feel alone. Yes, alone. Why is it so hard for me to admit? Always a strong one, always the noble one, and always alone. It's comically depressing, is it not? So today, I will listen to my favorite albums to remedy my wounds. I will get out of this room, I will smile at life, and seek the tenderness of the sunny day. It's comically depressing, is it not? I'm filled with bitterness. Or is it the hangover from the drinking last night? No, it's rage. I'm tired of life's irony. It kicks you in the rear while disguised as warmth. Aries, God, come. I begin to rise. Hold on tight. Here I go. This one here it inspired me when you meet those people, your friends in life that stick with you, and then you say, oh, we probably met at another life, didn't we? So, and you might not see them every day, but when you get back, it's just like where you left off. And I know that everyone has friends like that. So this one, here it goes. Who knows Spanish, by the way? Just let me, okay, there's several of you guys, good. It's called Hijo de la Luna. Ha cruzado en mi camino y ha venido al rescate un ángel terrestre que emite luz plateada, que ha iluminado mi camino eterno. Llegó a mí como andante del camino, agitado de su viaje espiritual, lo tomé y consolé como a una esencia estudiantil. Reconozco tu energía, sé quién eres. Eres un hijo de la Diana cazadora. Tienes instinto de cacería. Tomador de bestias, tu caricia sentimental tiernamente tocó mi melena, haciéndome recordar quién soy, de dónde vengo, hacia dónde voy y, más importante, cuánto he recorrido. Somos iguales y diferentes, como dos líneas paralelas que nunca se llegan a juntar. Soy vital para su existencia y viceversa. Luz de la diosa ha creado un puente temporal para que al menos se alineen estas líneas. Anda nuevamente a caminar, que yo haré lo mismo. Emite esa luz plateada y toca con tus músicas musicales, que yo haré lo mismo. Ve, y que esto nunca se te olvide, que yo haré lo mismo. I have one more, and then I'll let you guys go. This one here is, it's both in English and in Spanish. I wrote it also with just stream of conscious. I was driving, and it came to me. I was on my way home from a funeral, so you'll probably hear some of that. But it's playful. It's playful. I wanted to play with parallelism. I don't know if I pronounced that right, and mirroring. So standing tall. A journey heading towards the south. The south, it burns with fire and it purifies the soul. Alone, looking upward, a light, liquid blue sky. A tender wet caress rolls down my cheek and throat, down that familiar path. And with the last gasp of sudden breath, death occurs. A journey heading towards the north. The north, it solidifies with its earth and purifies the body. Alone, looking downward, a swampy green electric land. A tender caress of oxygen fills my lungs with air down that conditioned track, and with an ardent and revitalized flesh, life occurs. Thank you so much, you guys.